it's Nicole. Welcome back to the channel. For today's video, I have the new OPI Spring 2026 collection. It's called OPIcons. To celebrate OPI's 45th anniversary, they are basically remixing popular shades from the brand. The OPIcons collection features 12 different nail polishes in a variety of shimmer, cream, and like crelly-like finishes. The OPIcons collection is available right now on all the places where OPI is sold, both in person as well as in store. I have not yet seen these in store where I live, but I would have to imagine they'd be popping up any day now. If you would like to pick these polishes up at a discount as well as support the channel, you can shop beyondpolish.com. I do have an affiliate code with Beyond Polish, which is just Nicole Loves Nails, and that'll save you 10% off of everything on the website. And thank you very much to Beyond Polish for actually gifting me this release. I greatly appreciate working with you all again for this one. So as always, in the description box, links to where you can pick these polishes up, links to the OPI. So as always, in the description box, I will have links to places where you can pick these polishes up, my social media pages, the brand's social media. Y'all know the drill. There's also gonna be timestamps in the description box. Let's just get right into these polishes. The first polish up is called Put It in Airplane Mode, which OPI describes as a nude brown cream. Put It in Airplane Mode had a fantastic formula. While OPI does describe this particular shade as a cream finish, I personally feel like this leans a bit more in the crelly department. It has a very kind of sheer and squishy look on the nail. And in case you are new, what I mean by it has more of like a crelly-like finish, it means it has like kind of like the sheerness and opacity, as well as looking kind of squishy on the nail like a jelly nail polish would, but it has a bit more opacity than a jelly, but not quite as much opacity as a cream, so crelly. I will be showing this one swatched out in 2 coats because I felt like 2 coats looked absolutely perfect for this particular shade. And I did also find that this polish dries down very glossy on its own, but my swatches will show glossy top coat as of course. So as I was saying, for my full hand swatches, I opted to swatch this one out in 2 coats. I did in fact have visible nail line with this particular shade, but again, because I figured it was kind of more like crelly leaning, it was supposed to have a bit sheerness to it, so that's why I only stopped in 2. Also, I've got my dogs here and they're making quite a bit of noise. So sorry. You could for sure add a 3rd coat to this particular polish to add a bit more opacity to it. I don't really think this one's gonna get to full opacity though, unless you go in for like 4, maybe even 5 coats. Maybe 4. 4 probably will get you like close enough to full opacity, I would think, but I don't do 4 coats, so. Color-wise, I would describe this one as more of like a medium brown neutral shade. I feel like it didn't lean very cool toned or warm toned on me. I'm gonna definitely put it in like a neutral color category, and it's a very like lighter end of medium brown. So my full hand swatches show Put It in Airplane Mode in 2 coats plus glossy top coat. Even though this does dry down glossy, I still would recommend glossy top coat. It's gonna remove super duper easily because it's just like a cream slash crelly shade. The next polish up is called You Don't Know Suzi. I'm pretty sure that this is a pun off of the shade You Don't Know. It's like Jacques. I don't know French, guys. Jacques? I don't know that man's name.
To say it, I hope I don't sound ridiculous. I don't know who this man is.
I'm gonna really hope and pray that my mic is not picking up Sassy playing with her toy, but like, I feel like it is picking it up. We're just all gonna enjoy the background noise together, I guess. And OPI is describing this one as a mocha brown cream. You Don't Know Suzi had a pretty okay formula. This one applied like a little bit finicky. I feel like on most of my nails in 2 coats, it wasn't quite even enough for me to call it in 2. I definitely needed that 3rd coat to even everything out. I feel like for this particular shade, it's kind of in between being a cream and a crelly. It didn't quite have the same kind of like squishiness level that we saw in Put It in Airplane Mode, but it isn't quite fully opaque either that I would expect from an OPI cream shade. Like I said, it does lean like slightly kind of crelly-ish, but not quite fully crelly mode either. I do think this was supposed to be like more of an opaque cream as opposed to a crelly. Like I feel like other than like the lack of opacity, it doesn't have any of the markers that I would say is like definitely a crelly polish. So this one's gonna be a 2 to 3 coater. I found when I was doing my full hand swatches on all of my nails in 2 coats, it was a little bit uneven, not quite fully opaque and also not fully even. But I do think if you go in for slightly thicker coats or just do a better job at floating your coats, you could potentially get this one to be opaque in 2. While OPI does describe this as being a mocha brown cream, in my personal opinion, I feel like it's more of like a dusty kind of mauve shade. It has like a little bit of like a purpley taupe-ish lean to it, as opposed to what I think of as like a mocha brown, which I don't feel like mocha has any kind of like mauvish purpley tones to it. I mean, I'm not a coffee drinker, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. I did find that You Don't Know Suzi dries down just slightly darker than it initially applies. Not wildly so, just like very slightly. The kind of thing that if I wasn't looking to see if it happened, I probably wouldn't have noticed that it did happen. And super easy removal because it's a cream crelly thing. The next polish up is called Shrimp Cocktail, and OPI describes this one as a bright orange cream. Shrimp Cocktail had a pretty okay formula. This one was definitely on the thicker side. Not so thick that I needed to immediately add nail polish thinner, but I definitely considered it while I was doing my full hand swatches. I did notice that this one self-levels just like a smidge slower than I was expecting. It does self-level pretty well, but it does like, it's a bit of a slower self-level. Like you could actively just like watch it slowly settling into itself. This is like the perfect pedicure color in my mind. While I was swatching this one out, I actually was considering using this as my next pedicure color. The only reason why I didn't is that I didn't want to potentially lose the bottle before I finished doing all of my swatches for the rest of the polishes. So it's not my current pedicure color, but it's going to be. In my personal opinion, I feel like this is very much kind of like an orangey corally kind of shade. In my personal opinion, I feel like this has like a little bit too much of like a coral slash reddish kind of ness to the polish to call it like just orange. But I feel like it's like in the realm of like a corally orange color. Again, I feel like this is a summer color. My full hand swatches show Shrimp Cocktail in 2 coats plus glossy top coat. This shade does dry down pretty dull on its own, so you're for sure gonna want top coat for a glossy finish. The next polish up is called Strawberry Cosmo, and OPI describes this one as a fuchsia cream. Strawberry Cosmo also had a pretty good formula, not too thick or too thin. It applied really nicely. Self-leveling is a bit on the slower side, but I did find that it did indeed self-level. For my full hand swatches, I swatched this one out in 2 coats plus glossy top coat. It does, of course, dry down a little bit dull. I would personally describe this color as kind of like a berry fuchsia kind of color. I see where OPI was going with by calling this one a fuchsia. It is definitely in that color family. This is another shade that I feel like would be more fitting in a summer collection. I don't feel like this screams spring. However, I don't really like spring collections as a general rule, so I'm kind of glad this is in here, even if it's not a color that I personally enjoy. I'm just glad it's not a pastel.
A win is a win.
I feel like this is one of those kind of like staple OPI colors that OPI releases a lot of. So chances are very high that if you've ever purchased a full OPI collection, you probably have 1 or 3 of these. This is going to be a super duper easy removal. It's a cream. The next polish up is called Big Apple Energy. I believe the polish that inspired this one is called like Big Red Apple or something along those lines. I don't own it, but I'm pretty sure that's the name. And OPI just describes this one as a shimmery red. Big Apple Energy had a really fantastic formula. I feel like this has more of like a jelly base to it, so you're gonna wanna build this one up. I do think it's gonna be a 2 to 3 coater depending on your personal preference on visible nail line and how much like opacity you want. In 2 coats, you're gonna have some fairly obvious visible nail line, but if you add that 3rd coat, it will kind of hide the nail line quite a bit. This is gonna be one of those kind of shimmer effect polishes where the shimmer particles themselves look like they might be either like really large size shimmer or like a really small flaky. I do find that they lay down very flat, so like I will go with calling them like a shimmer because it doesn't give you like the kind of flaky texture. To my eye, I would say that the base on this is very much like a candy apple red, and then it has like this pink shimmer as well, like this kind of like whitish color shimmer. Like I feel like the white shimmer is like a bit larger in particle size than the pink shimmer is, but there's definitely like 2 different shimmers in here. I do want to give a warning that I do think this is going to be a likely potential stainer. When I was removing it, the red pigments really wanted to stick to my nails and my skin. So if you are concerned about staining, double or triple up on base coat if you're going to wear this one. Removal is not going to be very difficult though. It's just going to be on the more messy side because of those shimmer flaky bits. The next polish up is called Sunny Bunny, and OPI describes this one as a butter yellow cream. Out of all the polishes in this collection, this was the one that I knew for sure was very likely going to give me some difficulty, and boy did it ever. Sunny Bunny had a very finicky formula. This is gonna be one of those kind of like light pale colors that you're gonna really have to be on your A game for applying. I would definitely recommend floating your coats on. Do not put down too much pressure from your brush because it definitely will cause uneven spots. This is also gonna be one of those shades that I would also recommend. Don't try fixing your coats if you have any kind of like mistakes on your nail. and you try to fix it with this, it's just going to look worse. Like, don't do it. Don't be like me. This was just really, really difficult to apply evenly. Like, I feel like I had to like concentrate super, super hardly when I was doing my full hand swatches to try to get this to look like reasonably okay. It's just super, super finicky, which is not terribly surprising from a pastel yellow.
Disappointed!
But disappointing all the same. My full hand swatches are gonna be showing this one in 3 coats plus glossy top coat, and yeah, I didn't love it. So next up we have Bathtime Bubbly, and OPI describes this as a fizzy pink cream. I am fairly confident that this is like a pink version to OPI's Bubble Bath. In my personal opinion, I would describe this one as more of like a crelly leaning polish again, and it's a medium pink that has more of like a neutral tone to it. It's not quite the same color that I think of as like a bubblegum shade, like the bubblegum you chew. This polish was a bit on the thicker side once again, but I did find that it self-leveled pretty nicely. I feel like, again, if you float your coats on, you could indeed get this one to be reasonably even on your nails. This is not gonna fight you too bad, but you definitely have to kind of use careful application all the same. But I also feel like careful application is kind of like the name of the game when you start messing with these kind of like sheer kind of toned colors. I do, however, think that you could wear this particular shade in 1, 2, or 3 coats depending on your own personal preference, which I feel like I recall people saying that about OPI Bubble Bath. As long as you don't overwork this particular shade, you definitely can, you know, wear this in whatever way you want. My full hand swatches show Bathtime Bubbly in 3 coats plus glossy top coat. And again, super easy removal, no issues with staining. Look how pale this is not gonna stain. And yeah, easy removal. The next polish up is called Mod About Me, and OPI describes this one as a lavender cream. Mod About Me had a pretty good formula. I found this one applied pretty easily and self-leveled nicely as well. I do agree with OPI's color description for this particular shade. It is definitely in the lavender family. I do feel like it has like a very, and I mean a very slight kind of like pinkish undertone to it. When I was doing my full hand swatches, I definitely saw it. I feel like looking at it in the bottle, I'm not seeing it anymore. But I feel like on my nails, I was definitely seeing like kind of like a pinkish undertone. So for my fellow warm tone folks, this might have like a pinkish lean on you. That could be it then. I was pleasantly surprised at the application for this shade. It didn't apply chalky at all, and the self-leveling was really nice as well. I do think this one is going to be a 2 to 3 coater depending on your application style and personal preference. Do not overwork this shade. If you ever see like pastel anything, don't even think about overworking it. You're going to be in for a very bad time if you do. My full hand swatches show this one in 2 coats. However, I'm pretty sure my live swatch is showing it in 3 because lights are in my eyes and it's really hard to paint your nail on camera, folks. So yeah, 2 to 3 coater. It's a cream, so super duper easy removal. So the next polish up is called OPI'm a Bubble Bunny. Okay, the description for this one actually does say that this is a combination between OPI's Funny Bunny and OPI's Bubble Bath combined together to make a milky light pink sheer. So OPI'm a Bubble Bunny had a pretty good formula. So OPI'm a Bubble Bunny is gonna be another one of the polishes I'm gonna say is gonna have like a more finicky formula. You're really gonna wanna like really pay attention and concentrate on your application for this particular shade. I feel like this shade has like the look of being a crelly, but I feel like as I was building this one up to try to even it out, it didn't look like a crelly anymore. I feel like in 3 coats, it for sure looked like a cream. The only reason I chose to build this one up in 3 coats is because it was still really uneven on me in 2 coats, so I opted to add the 3rd coat and kind of like lost all of the crelliness, but I almost got it even. Truthfully, I hate applying shades like this. I don't like it when my nail polish kind of fights me to apply it, but I know a lot of people like love these kind of sheer milky colors. I would describe the color of this one as a very cool toned light pink shade. Like I feel like it's so cool toned that it almost seems like it's like either like a really, really light pinky purple. My full hand swatches show OPI'm a Bubble Bunny in 3 coats plus glossy top coat. I did have a bit of unevenness with this one even after 3 coats. I feel like there's definitely an audience for people who like this kind of particular shade of polish. It's just not my personal cup of tea, and super easy removal. It's a cream. The next polish up is called Linkin Park After Brunch, and I'm very confident this is going to be like a remix version of Linkin Park After Dark. OPI is describing this one as a shimmery blackened purple. Linkin Park After Brunch had a really good formula, thankfully. On that first coat was a little bit uneven, but I feel like that second coat, it reached full opacity and was perfectly even for me. Again, I don't own Linkin Park After Dark. I know, shocker, but it's not a Nicole color, so that's why I don't have it. I feel like that particular shade is one of OPI's like popular polishes that like, it kind of looks like it's so dark that it almost looks like a black color. I feel like for this particular shade, it's not so dark that it's going to look black. Like, I feel like this is definitely purple, and I don't feel like even in low lighting, I don't think this is gonna look black. And the shimmer in here is color shifty. I found it has like a pink to purple color shift. It's a really pretty color shift in this kind of like deep purpley kind of base. I don't foresee too many people needing more than 2 coats for this particular shade. This does dry down a little bit dull, so again, you will want some glossy top coat to bring life back to the polish. For those of you who are like really in love with Linkin Park After Dark, this is one of the polishes that I was really curious to see how people like the remix version. The shimmer in this one is not going to make removal overly difficult, just slightly more messy. And this is another shade that I would caution about staining. I feel like the base on this is very pigmented. The next polish up is called Pompeii Pink. According to the official description, this is inspired by a polish called Pompeii Purple, and OPI describes this one as a hot pink shimmer. Pompeii Pink had a fantastic formula. I feel like this particular shade, once upon a time, I was obsessed with colors like this. I feel like I don't find them nearly as exciting anymore, but like it still is a very pretty color. Formula on this one was pretty good. It was a bit on the thicker side. Again, not so thick that I needed to add any thinner to my bottle, but it was definitely like on the edge. I feel like this particular color, I feel like nearly every OPI collection that I ever review, there's always a polish that looks very similar, if not identical to this particular one. But if you don't yet already have one, this would be a good one to get. My fully on swatches show this one built up in 2 coats plus a glossy top coat. Dries down a little bit dull, so you know, top coat for a glossy finish and super easy removal. Just slightly a bit more messy because it's a shimmer. I feel like the shimmer in this particular polish has like a very slight, almost pearlescent lean to it. I wouldn't go so far to say that this is definitely like a pearlescent polish, but the shimmer has like a bit of a pearly lean to it. I did not find that it was brush strokey at all, however. The shimmer has a very vibrant kind of like magenta-y kind of flash in comparison to like the base on here. That's kind of, it's definitely a bright pink. I don't know if I would call it a hot pink. Like I feel like the shimmer looks more hot pink than the base does. Like in comparison, the shimmer has kind of almost like a cool tone look to it, and the base on it looks a bit warmer, kind of like reddish almost. Super easy removal on this one because it's just a shimmer. And the final polish from this release is called Queen's Rule. This is apparently a remix of a polish called Princess Rule. Oh, Princess's Rule, I'm sorry. And OPI describes this one as a peach shimmer. Queen's Rule is another one of the more sheer kind of crelly-like polishes in this release, so I did have visible nailing with it even when built up in 3 coats. For this particular shade, it was definitely on the thicker side. I kind of went back and forth on whether or not I was going to add thinner to it. After I did my 3rd coat, I was heavily regretting my decision not to add thinner to it. I feel like I might have been able to get a bit better application if I added some thinner. Like it was thick. I found application super uneven as well, and potentially thinner might fix that problem. I would describe the color of this as a very kind of like warm peachy color, and then the shimmer in here is kind of like almost whitish. I feel like this would be kind of like a nice nail bed color for somebody. I just was not happy with the application of this one, so I just didn't really like it very much, honestly. My fully on swatches show Queen's Rule in 3 coats plus glossy top coat. I did still have both visible nail line and some very uneven spots on my nails. This is a really sheer color. I feel like if you wear this one with even application in 1 to 2 coats, probably would be a bit better. I feel like the unevenness that you get with this one, I don't feel like it's really worth it to add that 3rd coat. I only added the 3rd coat because I was trying to see if I can kind of fix the unevenness, and it didn't fix it, so there's no real point in doing 3 coats with this one. Very easy removal because it's just a shimmer. It's just gonna be a bit more messy because, again, of the shimmer. Alrighty, final thoughts time. As someone who is not like an OG OPI fan, I did not really get all of the references to the polishes that they were talking about, but for some of the more like popular ones, I for sure got the reference. I feel like overall the color story of this release, it feels very all over the place. I feel like because the polishes these polishes were inspired by were from collections that were like from all over various seasons, I don't feel like seasonally this collection makes any sense. I don't feel like this is like a spring collection. I feel like this is definitely like a, these are our popular shades from OPI, here they are for the fans, which, so like I'm not going to judge this as not looking like a spring collection because I don't feel like it's like a true spring collection. I feel like this is definitely the kind of collection that like fans of OPI are probably going to be very excited about. I feel like with the exception of a couple of polishes, the formulas on these were all pretty good. I feel like my top pick of this release is going to be really shocking to those of you who know my color preferences. Put It in Airplay Mode is going to be my top pick from this release.
What the?
I don't know why either, actually. I feel like that was the one shade in this collection that when I had it on, I was like, wow, I really like how this looks on me. Why don't I wear colors like this more often? Which is a shocker because like that is not at all my color palette at all, but there was something about that particular just like combination with my skin tone that I thought this looked really pretty on my hands. I would love to know what everyone else thought of this release, especially if you were like an OG OPI fan. Do you feel that OPI did like a good job remixing the polishes that these are inspired by? As far as pricing and sale information goes, the OPIcons collection is available right now in all the places where OPI is sold. According to the OPI website, the MSRP on these are $11.99 for a 15 ml bottle, but you can pick these up at a discount in places like Beyond Polish, which of course I have listed in the description box. You can use my affiliate code, which is Nicole Love Nails, to save 10% off on the Beyond Polish website. The OPI website doesn't say this collection is limited edition, as is typical for OPI's releases the past few years. On top of the 12 polishes they have in the normal polish line, which these are also available in dip powder and gel polish. They also have the OPI Infinite Shine line, which is like their kind of like hybrid formula between a gel polish and a nail polish. It applies like nail polish, it acts like nail polish, I treat it like nail polish. The OPI Shine line has, I believe, 12 polishes as well, and those are all different from the polishes in this release. Let me know in the comment section if you would like me to also review the OPI Infinite Shine line. Before we end today's video, I do want to give a very special shout out to my channel members. Shenanigans Story Fans Your Names, of course, all on the screen right now. Channel members in Shenanigan tiers or higher, we do have a members only live stream happening this Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. I have a link over for that live stream over on my community tab in case anyone missed it. If you would like to sign up for my channel memberships, there is a link for that in the description box, or you can click join next to the subscribe button. But as always, that is completely optional. Just like the video, hype the video, share the video, all the things, and we are good. And thank you again to Beyond Polish for gifting me these polishes. So just thank you all for joining me for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a lovely week, folks, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!
When I get high, I ain't looking at the clock, still ballin' like Brian. Yeah, I'm headed to the Bucks, then I'm ballin' like yeah.